And welcome back, everyone, to the Resurrection series. If I sound a little bit more subdued today, just because I've kind of strained my voice a bit, I can still talk, but I gotta be a little bit more careful, especially when doing the what ifs and the exaggerated impressions. If I sound a little quieter or a little just like mellow, that's what's going on. I'm trying to not talk, trying to talk only as much as necessary, and the videos, things along those lines is one thing, but otherwise I'm trying to just keep it minimal. But from Draven Sanders, the question of what is the resurrection of Beelzebub from Record of Ragnarok. Now, we actually haven't done, I think we briefly met him. We haven't actually met him. We haven't had his fight yet in the series. That actually comes this December. The fight between Hades and I can't remember the name of the China's first king or something like that. Him versus Nikola Tesla and Leonidas versus Apollo. Those are coming up for this next season. But he is the Lord of the Flies. He's one of the lords of the underworld, an exceptionally powerful one at that. I would say if we're looking at him as a Espada, his what's the best way to put it? His aspect of death, probably weirdly enough, would be the fifth Espada's aspect of death, despair. This is due to the fact that he desires death. He doesn't think he's worthy to live, but he's kind of cursed with life. He can't take his own life, and he can't let someone take his own life. So it's kind of an interesting dichotomy he's got there. But he is, again, the Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies. But more importantly, his abilities revolve around the manipulation of vibrations, which is very interesting, to say the least. He's also apparently one of the best tacticians, if not the best tactician in the Record of Ragnarok universe. But yeah, he manipulates hypersonic frequencies, high frequencies they can use as weapons to easily cut through and destroy surroundings. He can also infuse vibrations into his weapon, causing their destructive power in the process. He can also use it as a defensive on the defensive level. Now, that being said, what do I think his original hollow form looked like? I think it could have been something akin to a more insectoid, almost fly-like version of what we got with the Ukiura, minus the wings looking more translucent than anything else. Its release command, though, his Resurrection's release command. This is interesting because I would have just done the Spanish for Lord of Flies, which honestly his release command could be buzz or fly. But hold on, English to Spanish is there. Which if I did Lord of Flies, hold on, what would that translate out to be? Lord of Flies. Come on, let's try that one more time. Lord of Flies. It would have been Señor de las Mocas. That's roughly what it really translated out to. However, he does in fact have a transformation. It's not a very major transformation, but it is a transformation called Demonic Destrudo. Ever since he was born, Beelzebub was thought to be cursed by Satan. The common rumor surrounding him was that any god that tries to get close to him suffers a misfortune, blah, blah, blah. In actuality, when Beelzebub's love reaches its utmost peak, he will destroy that which he loves. When this occurs, he loses consciousness and undergoes a change. His hands become like claws. The sclera from his eyes turn black with white pupils. While in this state, Beelzebub uncontrollably tears the heart of people he loves with his claws. Now, this is a very, very minor transformation, but Destrudo is essentially what we can call his resurrection. I think that's pretty easy. I think it would also be something along the lines of either love or maybe not buzz, but or maybe it could just literally be vibrate. Vibrate Destrudo. And he would still gain the change of color of his eyes. He would still end up getting the claws, but I think he'd also have sets of armor on his arms. He probably would gain the wings that he had initially in his hollow form. Should note, I think his mask, looking at him right here, his mask actually probably just mirrors his staff right there. except it probably only covers either the top portion of his head, or maybe around his eyes a little bit, like underneath his eyes and the bit of nose. Like it looks just kind of like a normal mask, like a normal skull. Probably some insectoid features added onto it. But the other thing I should note is his Zanpakuto probably is actually this cane. We don't see many Espada or Roncar in general that have non-traditional like Resurrection like containment swords. Like Barigon has a battle axe, sure. Holybell's sword looks different. A couple swords look different. Niatora's Zanpakuto looks drastically different. The only one who's really, really different is Stark, who doesn't even have a Zanpakuto to store his power. He has a separate sentient being in Lynette. But in Beelzebub, because I think this would be his Zanpakuto, more or less, is what he uses for his Resurrection. So he'd have the claws, he'd have probably a little bit more of the fly-like features he had in his hollow state. He has his wings. He probably just kind of has like bits of armor here or there. And his outfit probably looks kind of like Ulquiorra's. Like he probably wears a white version of this. Maybe there's still, like the purple's still there, but he has the white in where the black is. As such, in this state, he is able to control vibrations. That's what he does. He essentially has a better version of Tozen's Zanpakuto and Resurrection. Because that's kind of what Tozen's Resurrection did. It controlled vibrations, more or less, sound waves. This would just be a much better version of that. And he'd still have all the techniques he has in Record of Ragnarok in Bleach. They would just be designed more in the Bleach world. For example, Palmyra beat of the devil's wings. Nate's cut through his body. His innate ability to vibrate his body at high frequencies. Then there's Sorath Sameke, Gates of Hell. He applies vibrations to his left hand, to his staff, to create a vibrational barrier that can block attacks. He probably still, by the way, has his staff, and now probably turns into a blade with the handle having the skull at the end. There's also Fallen Angel Gluttony. He applies vibrations of his right hand to the skull handle of the staff. His staff for swinging it down. Since the staff is amplified, he could do that too. There's also his final attack is like my most powerful attack. Original Sin of the Netherworld, number 0 Chaos, a technique that has been branded as taboo in Heimhell. Beelzebub clutches onto the skull of his staff with both hands, imbuing it with the offensive and defensive vibrations at the same time. By condensing these two vibrations, he creates a large explosion in the form of a black sphere that engulfs him and his opponent. The black sphere will then burst, leaving his opponent dead and causing his Beelzebub's body to be quite injured. During the 8th round, when he first used this attack, Tesla would have died if he didn't offset it. So basically, it's just a powerful, like, this would make sense to me like his final move, the defensive and offensive capabilities coming together. So this is my thoughts on what I think this guy's Resurrection would be. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you agree with this or you disagree with this? Let me know if you feel differently. And if you do, what would you do? Let me know. Until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.